A very good morning to all of you. Myself, Professor Chetan Gupta, faculty of CSE Department, SI the SAGE Group, and today we are going to discuss about a subject that is a database management system. The subject code is CS502, and in today's lecture we are going to discuss about the introduction of DBMS. First of all, we will discuss about what is DBMS. Basically, DBMS is a collection of interrelated data and a set of programs to access those data. A collection of data is usually referred as database. The primary goal of the DBMS is to store and retrieve the data from the database. DBMS is designed to manage the large body of information, or we can say that large body of data. If we discuss about what is the structure of DBMS, or we can say that the architecture of DBMS. So basically this is the structure of DBMS. On the top of the DBMS, there are multiple users. They are DBMS user, or they are the normal user who can access the data from the database with the help of some queries. The data stored in the DBMS, they are four types. Either they are the relational database, either they are the hierarchical database, either the database is stored in the form of flat files, or either the data is stored in the database objects. Means we, and the bottom part represent the database, the data storage, that is the user fire the command to access the data from all these databases. So next topic is what are the basic elements of the DBMS. So basically database consists of four elements. First one is data, second one is relation, third one is constraint, and fourth one is schema. First one is data. Data basically whatever the data a user want to store in the database, or they can retrieve the data from the database, is known as data. Relation means whatever the interrelated data is there in that particular database table. Third one is constraint. Constraint means whatever the condition you want to apply for storing or fetching the data from the database. And schema. Schema basically overall design of a database is known as schema. So these are the four basic elements for forming a database management system. Here are the some list of some database management system softwares that are available right now for storing the data in our database. For example, Microsoft Access, MS SQL, or we can say that MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQL File Server, Oracle, RDBMS, and FoxPro. These are the some few examples of database management system software. We can take any database management system software. Some of our freeware, some of our license. So we can use all these databases management system software for storing the database. Now, what are the different applications in today's scenario for the database management system where we can use the database? So we can use database in various applications, like in banking. In banking, for all the transactions, for all the users, all the clients of the banking, all the customer of the bank, all the database is stored in the database. So here we need a database management system software. Airlines, railway reservation, universities, finance, sales, manufacturing, telecommunication, online shopping, social media, credit card transaction, manufacturing, library management system. Everywhere we required database management system software, because there is a huge amount of data and we need to store the database for retrieve that data in future, because it is necessary to store the data into proper places, so that in future if we require that data, so we can easily access the database for the further processing. There are some advantages of DBMS over file-oriented approach. These are the some few list of the advantages of DBMS. That is a data redundancy. second one is data inconsistency, third one is security, fourth one is integrity, next one is atomicity, next is data independence, seventh one is data isolation, and last one is concurrent access. Basically, what data redundancy represent? Data redundancy means multiple copy of a same data. For example, if you store data in different places, so there may be a chances there will be a different values of a same data. These are the some drawbacks that are existence in the file oriented system, but in our DBMS, data is stored in proper places, so the data redundancy is not there. The second point is data inconsistency. The data consistency is totally dependent on data redundancy. If we do the redundancy, if we do the different values of a same data, so data inconsistency comes in the existence. So that means data inconsistency means different values of a same data is known as data inconsistency. So whenever you duplicate the data, whenever you redundant the data, the problem comes in the existence, that is the data inconsistency. The third one is security. Security means basically to protect the data from the unauthorized access. Means not every user of a database is able to access all the information. So these are the drawback in the file oriented system, but the database management system software provides these features as a security. Data integrity means next, fourth one is integrity. The integrity means the data value stored in the database must be accurate, so that the accuracy is there. That means the data is integrated data. Next one is atomicity. Atomicity property told that either all the operation of the database must be performed completely or no operation is performed. Means whatever the operation you want to perform on the database should be completed. If the operation is failed during the transaction, the rollback action can be taken places to maintain the data in his consistent state. Next one is data independence. Data independence is basically an ability in which we can modify the data in the database without affecting the just next higher level is called data independence. That means if we change in the physical level, so the logical level will not change, or if we are changing some data, if we in the logical level, the physical schema will not affect. That is known as data independence. Next is data isolation. Data isolation basically indicate because the data are stored in the different files and maybe in different format, which is difficult to write the new application program to retrieve the appropriate data from the database. That's why the data isolation means the data which are stored in different form in previously, now we are using the same database management system software, so the isolation problem can be removed. Next is concurrent access. Concurrent access means at simultaneously multiple user can access the same data at the same time. So DBMS is allowed to access the concurrent access. With the help of some advantages, there are few advantages of the database management system. For example, first one is the cost of hardware and software. Then the cost of staff training, means not every user can easily access the database, because if you want to access the database, you need to aware the SQL commands that is used to access or that is used to store the data in the databases. Next is complexity, because as we know, all nowadays company are using the database management system software as it fulfill lots of requirement and also solve the problem. But the problem arise because not every user of the database can be easily aware about the DBMS command, so the complexity is there. Next, the disadvantage, or we can say that the limitation of the DTA is concurrency maintains, because every user is trying to access the data at the same time. So we have to maintain the concurrency in the databases. Next is performance, and last, the drawback, or we can say the disadvantage of DBMS is the frequent upgrade, or we can say that replacement cycle. This is the structure of the DBMS, or we can say that the architecture of DBMS. The bottom part basically represent the internal level, or we can say that physical level. The mid part is considered as a storage manager or the query processor, and the topmost part are the user. Either user may be an application program, either it may be a analyst, either it may be a database administrator, or either it may be any agent or web user who are accessing the database. In disk storage, there are data indices, data dictionary, or the statistical data. Storage manager is used to manage the transaction manager, file manager, buffer manager, or the authenticity manager. The query processor have multiple things like query evaluation engine, application program, object code, compiler and linker, DML queries, DML interpreter, and DML compiler is also there. So whenever any user want to access any data, they are using some application program. With the help of application program, they can fire the queries, the query evaluation engine, then search that data in the from the databases. The data dictionary is there, the indices is there for the easy retrieval of the data. So this is the structure of the DBMS, or we can say that the three schema architecture of DBMS. There are three level: physical level, logical level, and view level. So in today's lecture, we are discussing about what is DBMS, what are the advantages of DBMS, what are the limitations of the DBMS, what are the some elements that are used to create the DBMS, and the architecture of the DBMS. In our next lecture, we are going to discuss about the next few things about the DBMS, that is related to the architecture, then the attribute, method, and the entity set. Thank you so much.